mechanical engineer and specialized in tribology. When you hear the word tribology, you might think it's something related to biology. No, it's not. So, what's tribology? You can see that I've put a picture of a person falling down there. That's because of the low friction. So, tribology is a field in engineering, especially in mechanical engineering, which deals with study of friction, wear, and lubrication. What we do is we look at the surfaces where it's really hard or like it's just rough, and we try to lubricate the surface in order to make it smooth and run things efficiently. Now, listening to this, what do you think about like where do we apply this in the biological sense? My project is about investigating the structure and functional properties of human osteoarthritic and diabetic cartilage. So what do we do here is, I'm mainly focusing on two diseases, that is the osteoarthritis and type 2 diabetic conditions, because they are comorbid conditions, which means if one is within the patient, it has a risk factors which you can develop the another disease as well. So I'm trying to understand the link, how it's happening, so through various disease pathways, trying to understand does glucose or hypoglycemic condition has anything to do with the osteoarthritis or to damage the cartilage. How am I doing this? I'm trying to understand the structure of the cartilage with various physical means like morphology and then physiology, how is it changing and things. Finally, the application of this project is to develop the lubricant-based injections, which is also called as intra-articular injections. So how am I doing this in my project is through different methodology. So what I do is I take the samples from patients undergoing joint replacement surgeries, the knee joint cartilage, and then I try to analyze those cartilage and see what are the morphological changes that has happened on those surfaces. And I try to image them and do qualitative and quantitative analysis through various techniques like Raman spectroscopy, scanning electron microscopy, as well as histology. Then I test those surfaces in order to see what are the changes in their properties, like mechanical properties. I understand the compression test, and then also I do tribology tests where I study the friction on the surfaces. Has the friction increased or decreased? Finally, we're going to test different lubricants on the surface in order to see which lubricant can act as a better, like a solution on the surface to reduce the friction, thereby inculcate the same thing in the injections and help the early interventions for the osteoarthritic condition. One disadvantage or one of the challenges we have with cartilage is a aneural and avascular tissue which doesn't have a blood supply or it doesn't regrow. So the one thing is it starts damaging, like once it's damaged, it just goes on and then it completely damages. So what we are trying to do is only to slow the process of degradation or slow the process of the damage. So finally, the understanding of my project is to see how the disease pathway or the mechanism of the damage is happening from the healthy to